You have stopped repeating old cycles, and so everything is new. You know, you might have a new job, a new profession, new people in your life. Your external world starts shifting, and new things, new experiences, newness starts coming towards you.
I did my time, I cried through nights or darkness till I reached the light. I wouldn't change the challenges, they turned me to a dime. I used to think I wasn't perfect. The truth is I still don't, but it don't hurt, cause if you ain't got work, then how you gonna grow?
What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Holly Williams. However, my work at the moment goes underneath Inme Aten, which means the light within me. Of course, that light was cultivated in the darkness, so do not forget that. Basically, what that means is you can find me on social media platforms such as Instagram and TikTok underneath inme.aten. Anyway, let's get on with today's video. I'm making this video mainly because a lot of people watched the video that I made, which is titled Life Path 11 Why Success is Slow. It really got me thinking. A lot of people were resonating with it. A lot of people were feeling it. A lot of people were like, yes, I feel that. And so I decided to make a video called The Point of Change, because I feel like I'm going through this current thing right now, and that's all I can call it, is the point of change. The point of change is a period in your life in which you have began to tap into the energy of the heart. Your external circumstances begin to change because what's inside of you has changed, because you've changed from the inside, and now the outside is also starting to shift. You've learned from the lessons, and you can look at your old self and actually feel gratitude for some of the challenges that you've been through. And you are now prepared to walk into a new arena fearlessly almost, you know? So I think that is the point of change. So I think what happens initially on the spiritual journey is that we get what I call a vision of the gates. And I call it the vision of the gates because we basically, it's that 11-11 moment, you know, when something kind of clicks and we get this vision of what life could be, this peaceful way of being. We get an idea of the state of heaven that we could live in. This vision comes from spirit, but ego still drives our vehicle. So what lies beyond the gates is definitely spiritual at heart, but our way of seeing it is in a material sense. We think that we're going to go towards these gates and it's going to be nice and beautiful and we're going to attain what's behind it. But then we go through practical teachings and lessons. And basically, it's a lot harder than we ever thought. And the universe gives us a whole bunch of challenges, and we've got to make sense of them and dissect them and learn from them. Eventually, I think we get to sort of this period in which we're maturing and we have almost like exams. We get to really apply the knowledge we found in the challenges to a few final sort of exams. And once we pass these exams, that is when we reach what I call the point of change. This is the point of change. And this is where your external environment starts to change, because you've passed all the exams, you've learned all the things that you need to learn, and now you feel like a new person. And what's going to happen, hopefully in the future, is that we step into newness. And there can still be lessons here, a lot of lessons and teachings and challenging times. But what we have is all of the knowledge from this area of our life, and we can apply that here. So the point of change is essentially this period of time that sits in between sort of your old self and your new self. It's this point of transformation where everything almost starts to shift from the old into the new. So one of the first things that you will notice when you reach the point of change is this amazing sense of peace. It doesn't mean you don't feel any other emotions, do you know what I mean? You can feel other emotions, but you're at peace with any circumstance that is sort of thrown at you. An example for me at the moment is that, you know, my neck keeps getting injured, right, in this chapter of my life, and I'm doing my best to learn from it. And it's very limiting, it's annoying, it's frustrating. So yes, it's irritating, but I'm very much at peace with it. I don't allow it to consume me. If money is low, you're at peace with that. If, you know, you're heartbroken, you're at peace with that. Your emotions don't consume you. You feel an overwhelming sense of peace, Yeah, it's different to that chapter where, you know, everything riled you. Another sign that you're at that point of change is that you are very accepting of all. And you may have been accepting of all before in ways, but this is just it's a next level of acceptance. You get why people are why they are. And although, you know, sometimes, again, people can be irritating or whatever, but you get it, and you don't judge them. You know, you just completely accept them for who they are, and you accept everyone. You just understand their feelings, their frustrations, and why people behave in certain ways, and you accept everybody for who they are. Next thing I guess you'll feel, or at least I felt, is that I am strangely supported by the universe. And, you know, there's times in the journey, in that initial part on the walk, where you feel like, you know, you're getting messages from the guides or whatever, but then you have periods where you just feel like the universe has not got your back. You know, everything is going wrong, everything's going against you, nothing's working. You're experiencing pain and suffering and things you feel like you haven't asked for, right? But then when you reach the point of change, you're at so much peace, and it's kind of random. You've stopped asking for things, you know, like you did in the previous chapter. You've stopped asking for things. I guess that's another thing. You stop asking for things, you know. But what happens is that the universe actually really starts to give you these things. It starts to gift them to you. You're strangely supported. An example of that for me, for example, why did I use so many examples there? An example of that for me is that I moved back to the UK from Thailand with absolutely no money. I quit my job in Melbourne in 2019 maybe, so 2021 now. Haven't worked for 2 years. Well, technically, you know, like systematic work. I was in Thailand for a year and a half, creating an oracle deck, writing a guidebook. I was always been doing stuff, trying to create my life, right, as I want to live it. But technically I haven't had a job. I haven't lived here since I was 21, I'm now 30. There was no way that I was going to pass a rental check. You know, I was never going to be able to rent a property. I get back to the UK beginning of December, and then this is before Christmas. My mum comes home and says, somebody at work has got a 2-bedroom flat that's ready by the 21st of December or something. And me and my brother are moving in together, so we needed a 2-bedroom flat. We didn't have to do any agreements, no checks, none of this. We just moved straight in here. That's just one way in which I've been supported by the universe, like just one. I thought I was going to have to live in a dingy little place, but it all just unfolded so perfectly, and many more things that I just don't need to go into, but you just feel so supported by the universe. It has your back. You are consciously aware of cycles, old cycles that you used to repeat. You're consciously aware of them, and you are very much like, I am not prepared to step back into those old cycles. You actively and consciously do things differently. You know, you are so aware of this past version and the things that you did, and you're like, no, I won't do that again. I want newness so much so that I better end that and end it. If you want newness, you better get bloody good at endings. And so you have to be in this place, or you fall into this place in which, like, you are so aware of like what you've done previously, and you're like, I'm not prepared to do that again. And you basically stop repeating old cycles. That's pretty cool, to be fair. Another sign that you are reaching the point of change is that there is a fearlessness about you. Things no longer scare you, things no longer bother you. And again, it kind of links in with the whole like emotions not taking over your psyche or not literally consuming you, but you're fearless. You know, you're ready to go for what it is that you want. With a fearlessness, you are comfortable with in your skin, you're comfortable with making mistakes, you are so comfortable with everything that you're almost not afraid, you know. An example for me is that in that last chapter, I feel like I reached almost zero, having almost nothing, next to nothing, not zero, not nothing, but I got so low on material that I'm now no longer afraid of that. And it means that I can be comfortable where I am doing what I'm doing, like with a fearlessness, basically. And yeah, you become fearless. You're ready to almost take on anything. And that is great, because you need that to move on from the point of change and step into the newness. You experience newness, and this is part of it's all linked. Do you know what I mean? It's you have stopped repeating old cycles, and so everything is new. You know, you might have a new job, a new profession, new people in your life. Your external world starts shifting, and new things, new experiences, newness starts coming towards you. I mean, I think it's beautiful. You've closed an old chapter, you've learned the things that you needed to learn there, and you need newness, because you need that newness because, well, you're climbing the karmic thread, you know? You have to step into a new experience and generate new karma and generate new lessons. Those lessons are much easier to face because you've got wisdom from the old chapter, but, you know, newness has to come. And so you might find new situations start arising, new people step into your life, new jobs, new circumstances, things that you haven't yet experienced. And finally, there is far less material temptation. Your goals are no longer linked to material. You understand that perhaps material may be a requirement in some way, shape or form, or that material may be something that you utilize either now or in the future, but you are no longer obsessed with the attainment of material. You understand what you need and you understand what it is that you want, and you are able to separate those two things, and so you're able to live a life that is, I don't want to say even materialistic, but you're able to live this life where you don't overconsume, essentially. You know, you're not overconsuming, and there's always still work to do. There's always still work to do. There's always still refinements that you can make, but you're just not a heavy consumer, and that is not something that tempts you anymore. But like I said, that doesn't mean you don't have material, or that you won't attain material, or that you can't attain masses of material, but it just means that you're different with your approach to it. If you do attain masses of material, you might want to share that material with the masses, you know, or you might utilize it to spread your message, or whatever, you know. But yeah, greed essentially exits the body. Reaching the point of change, that's a journey and a half. I'm 29, coming up 30. I'm very nearly 30. That's why I said I was 30 earlier. It's taken 9-10 years for me to reach this point of change. And you reach the point of change, I think, right, by embracing challenges. It's as simple as that. Embracing challenges, taking all pain as an opportunity to learn, attaining a growth mindset, taking life as a school. You know what I mean? Analysing your emotions, looking at your emotions, learning from your emotions, looking at your actions, learning from your actions, understanding why you are doing these things, digging deep within yourself, looking at the cycles that you consistently repeat, looking at the circumstances that you continuously face, looking at what hurts you, looking at what makes you sad, looking at what makes you angry, looking at what makes you frustrated, and then learning to kind of almost unpackage all of that and detach from it all, almost freeing yourself, you know, from the things, from the emotions, from the baggage, from the wants, the desires, everything that you've got so tightly on your body. Learning to release your wants and desires. I think you have to reach a place in which suddenly not that you don't care, but everything that you want desperately, you know, you get to a point in which you're like, why do I even want that, and why does it even matter? And do you know what? I'm quite comfortable if I don't have it. Fair. You know, you get to this point where you're like, well, what's important about that anyway? And those are the things that are almost material wants and desires. That's wants and desires, you know, they're material, they're of the physical plane, yeah, they're not always spiritual. It's like maybe you want to deliver a spiritual message, but your want and desire is fame, you know, and so it kind of gets intertwined. Once you release those wants, you know, I think that's when the point of change can start coming in. You know, a point for me was on my journey, which I realised, you know, I began to be able to release those wants and desires, was that I guess I always wanted recognition for, you know, the things that I'd learned on this journey, and that was huge for me. And I went through over the last couple of years a big challenge with, you know, wanting recognition and not feeling like I was not heard, not seen, and nobody really knew. Like, I don't know, like, it sounds weird, but nobody really knew that I've done all this work, and, you know, they just saw me as Holly, the personal trainer, and I was like, I've got all this depth to me and all this knowledge, you know, and I was kind of like, I was angry that nobody knew that, and I had to go through some battles, and I got to this point where when I was designing the Oracle deck, Beautiful Deck and Unfoldment of Consciousness, and of course, as you do things, you know, you go through challenges, and at one point I was absolutely prepared to write the writing for the deck, you know, give all of this stuff that I learned over the years, write 39 cards worth of writing, of lessons and things that I found along the way, and I was prepared to just leave it, you know, give the writing and leave it and walk away from it and just be like, yeah, I've done my bit, I don't need to have my name on it, like, you know, and that was huge for me, you know, because for me, like, I wanted recognition. I was prepared to just be like, here's the writing. That just showed me that slowly I became okay with, you know, not wanting those things that I previously wanted, and that was huge for me when it came to reaching the point of change. I think that was one of the big tests, and that was a big passing of the test. And you know, that means when you pass the test, the things that you previously wanted, they occur anyway in the future, I believe, but you have to not want them and genuinely not want them. So you can't listen to this and just be like, okay, well, I don't want it anymore. Like, you have to genuinely, I think, go through some form of a challenge in which you actually slowly become comfortable with not having that. And then that point of change is reached. I feel like I'm really just at the beginning of the point of change, like the point of change. I'm in that circular bit, and I'm slowly stepping to into the next part, with a backpack of wisdom, and there will be challenges, maybe new fears, new insecurities, new circumstances that arise that bring up emotions that I haven't felt before. I hope so. I genuinely hope so, because I'm ready to experience something new, and I'm ready to feel something different. Give me something new to sort of learn from, even if it's darkness, even if I have to go through more hard times. Like, I'm ready to learn, and that's what I want. I think that within the future, it comes, you know, you've released all the old cycles, you've stopped doing all those old things. You can only step into newness. You can only climb what I call the karmic thread and spiral up into a new experience, and learn from that. So, you know, hopefully that's going to happen. I don't know what the future entails, but I just hope that it's something new, and that's what I actually believe it will be. So when you reach the point of change, I think you start to feel all those little shifts. The universe supports you, everything's going good, you really feel like, right, you feel the point of change, and then I think you get slowly catapulted into a new experience, and that new experience you will learn and grow from. And hopefully in that new experience too, you will have the opportunity to really share with the world that what it is that you want to share. You will be able to deliver that message from spirit in that chapter. Yeah, I guess that's what I expect in the future, or that's what to expect in the future if you're at the point of change. Guys, if you've actually been through this, let's just say this, if you've been through this is just my theory based on my life and where I'm at currently, and how I've made sense of the world. If you have reached this point, the point of change, and you're a life path 11, or you're not a life path 11, you're just a person and reached the point of change, like, comment below, let me know, like, is that correct? Has that happened to you? Where are you? Are you at the point of change? Have you just got a glimpse of the gates? Are you walking the path and facing the tests and the lessons and the hard teachings? I would love to know. Again, if you made it this far, if you listened to me speak all of this way, then thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate every second that you spend on my videos. I appreciate every subscribe, like, every comment, and I do get back to them as soon as I can. So thank you for that. Here is a little bit more about me and the content that I have to offer, because I have so much. So guys, don't forget to flick through my channel for more stuff. Here's a little preview of the things that I do. I did mention obviously that I created an oracle deck, and here it is. It is an Unfoldment of Consciousness oracle deck by Aten. It's a beautiful deck. Like I said, I wrote the guidebook, and my creative partner did the artwork. The cards are absolutely beautiful. They are stunning cards. So you know, if you are interested, I will leave the link to our website in the description below. With that being said, guys, have an amazing week, day, year, hour, minute. You know, learn from those you know, lessons. They are blessings in disguise. Drop comments below, and I will see you in the next video.